So you're thinking about buying or selling in this market, and you can't put your finger on what exactly is going on. Now, it's certainly a very volatile market right now, and if you're watching the news, it is very hard to figure out which way it's going. What I've done is I've compiled my favorite news articles from this past week and broken them down just for you. My name is James Anderson. I am your family realtor. I help people buy and sell homes here in the Lower Mainland. I work with the Kyle Lamb Group at Royal Lepage Sterling Realty here. Now, if you have any questions about these articles or want to talk to me about being a buyer or a seller in this market, feel free to click the link below and book a call with me at a time that works perfectly for you. Okay, the biggest question that everybody's asking right now is what to expect with the next Bank of Canada interest rate announcement. It is coming to us on Wednesday, October the 25th here, so we are very close with that. There will be another one coming up as well on a very special day to me, December 6th. So in 2022, we saw 7 rate hikes, and we saw another one in January of 2023, bringing the key rate, the overnight lending rate, to 4.5. And where we sit right now is from the June 7th rate hike, bringing it up to 4.75. So this information is coming from the co-CEO and president of CanWise mortgage lender, James Laird. If you don't use the Rate Hub website, you probably should, or if you're using the Wawa one, that one's just as good. So the Bank of Canada is expecting to hold the rates with this next announcement. However, it is possible that there will be future rate hikes in 2023. Now, one of the big issues that everybody's talking about right now is the stress test that is putting homes out of reach for more Canadians, and people are complaining about it, saying that it has been the issue and the main reason why people cannot get into their homes right now. For example, if you are looking to get into a home right now, you would be stress tested around and above 8% or even higher, depending on what you're going with. So even with the homes dropping in value in all 10 cities we looked at, it is still becoming less affordable because of the rate hikes. So this mortgage stress test was introduced in 2016 and requires borrowers to qualify a rate of at either 5.25 or the lender's offer plus 2%, whatever is higher. And so that's why we are trying to qualify people at, or people are getting qualified at, 8.3%. But I want to remind a lot of people here that these people that are getting into the mortgage industry right now are qualifying at a higher rate. The people that were coming into the industry back in 2019 and 2018 were being qualified at a higher rate too, which is very good considering right now they are renewing again at a very high rate right now. So that stress test is hopefully going to prove its worth going forward here, making sure that there isn't a lot of renewal pain and payment shock when those do come. So here's a reason why we did have the stress test here. Homeowners are on the brink of a tough choice because of the increasing mortgage payments right now. So as more and more homeowners face mortgage renewals at surprisingly higher interest rates, some are facing the dreaded prospect of having to sell their home they can no longer afford. Now, this is why we had the stress test in, and again, this is the payment shock that I just referenced. So if this is happening in your family, I am definitely sympathetic towards it. It is an unfortunate situation, and I understand that everything in the world right now is getting more expensive, not just your mortgage payment. You should start having these hard conversations with your family members to talk about what you can do to reduce your family spending, to not going out as much, and to also increase your potential income that you earn. That might mean diversifying your income to a secondary source, asking for a raise at work, or even renting out a room in the house. And here's a shameless plug here, a Thrive Mortgage Company Guide to Mortgage Renewals. This is Tyler here, our fantastic mortgage broker that we refer everybody to. You can find it on his website here, or just email me and I will send you the link. So like I said, everything's getting more expensive here, and the average rent went up 11% this past year. And it's not Toronto or Vancouver with the fastest pace, it is actually Calgary. However, Toronto does win with the most expensive one-bedroom property at $26.14 a month. Now next is a Stories article talking about the fact that price declines and improvement in affordability is not imminent. So they're talking here that sentiments have soured significantly. That's a tongue twister there for sure. In Canada's housing markets, and even with sales and prices edging lower, but higher interest rates keeping buyers on the sidelines. So despite the slowdown, economists are still warning that improvement in affordability is still not on the horizon. So we did see the first decline since March of the MLS HPI price index here. It just dropped 0.3 on a monthly basis, down to the average price for a Canadian home, $753,000. However, it's important to note that the aggregate home price is still 39% above the pre-pandemic level. So they finished the article talking about the fact that prices will continue to edge down because of tough market conditions. Restrictive rates will keep demand dwindling in the absence of sizable price declines. Now, this is Benjamin Tal here. He's the senior economist at CIBC, and he is saying that the Bank of Canada will likely begin to cut rates in mid-2024. And the overnight rate could settle around, after everything's said and done, 3%. And he's saying the central bank is reaching an endpoint on rate hikes, with its trend-setting rate likely to stay around the current level for the first half of next year before ticking down again. So Benjamin Tal also talks about the fact that Canadians had been able to save more money during the pandemic because they were out spending much, much less. And those savings have slowly whittled away, meaning that the impact of the rate hikes and the power of the central bank have grown. So as a result, he added that there is little cause for rates to rise further. He said this is the end the next coming weeks, but obviously the question that everybody's asking is, when are they going to start cutting? And again, he says they don't expect to see any cuts until June or July next year. So since 57% of all mortgages in Canada will be reset in 2025, 2026, if the Bank of Canada does not start cutting interest rates, he says it is not going to be pretty, to put it mildly. And these 2024 rate cuts would help people avoid significant economic shock. So this article here in Stories goes into the fact that the population growth in Canada is outpacing housing completions by 40%. And the gap between housing completions and population growth has widened to a 50-year high in Canada here. So between 2018 and 2022, we saw an average of 553,000 people coming into the country, and we were only able to build just over 200,000 homes. That gap is at a 50-year high right here. As you can see here in this chart, the massive difference between years past, population growth being in the blue and housing completions being in the golden. So because of that gap, this is obviously increasing the population per housing unit. In the past, we were averaging around 1.5 up to 2 for the past 50 years here, as you can see, and we are above 4.5 per housing unit. So that means for every housing unit we have right now, we have 4.5 people. And one of the reasons why we're not able to build all the homes that we need right now is because of employment and the lack of people being able to build in the construction industry. And that's what this article here highlights. So there's my weekly wrap up. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great week.